Those who perpetrated the attack against this country and now represent the greatest threat to our country live free in a secure...
Is Haji Ghafoor, leader of the Hague Group.
Our initial impressions were not good. We don't want to fight up a hill, we want to fight down the hill.
Both of those guys got something.
That looks like a weapon. I've got 4 bad guys and machine guns.
The entire valley just erupted. This is the moment that I died.
Even though the odds are stacked against us, we can't give up.
Tango Foxtrot Pushmaster. Destroy target.
When I look back at it now, I think it's amazing that any of us made it out of there alive.
Dillon, I got some coffee, man.
Sweet, thanks.
There is a saying that those I shed blood with will always be my brother, and I think that that's a very true statement. Dillon and I still get together every year and hunt together. But Dillon and I definitely weren't as close before that day.
Remember that time when I came back and you had just like taken over the team? You had drawn this like crazy picture on the whiteboard. I was like, who is this guy?
In 2007, I was assigned a team in Charlie Company 3rd Battalion. I had 15 years of military experience. My job as the team sergeant was to ensure that the team is trained properly. My team was a very young team. I realized we were going to have to go through a very rudimentary crawl, walk, run phase.
I had been away at training, and I remember coming back and everybody was talking about this new team sergeant that we had.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Some people thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and other people thought that he was a bit of a hard ass. There was this picture. It had like a big stick figure.
See this big guy? That's me.
And I think it had like lightning bolts or some crap on there.
See these little guys? That's you.
There's only one guy at the top of the flow chart, and that's the only person that has the authority.
Now we deploy in 3 months. And I'm responsible for getting you ready for battle. Now the most important thing about winning a battle is teamwork. So starting tomorrow, you are no longer individuals. You are cogs in my machine.
I said everybody will be here at 6:30 every morning, and we'll do physical training together.
Tomorrow, 6:30, sharp. Dismissed.
He was the alpha male, even of a team of alpha males.
Move, ladies! We run as a team! Teamwork! Let's go!
Think about the enemy! Be the enemy!
The biggest hurdle, I think, in the beginning was just the mindset. Breaking their mindset of, hey, this is easy, we're Green Berets. In Afghanistan, you're going against people that are seasoned veterans. They've lived combat their entire life. No matter how good you are, at some point you're going to face an adversary in Afghanistan that can take all your technology, throw it out the window, and it's just all about who has the strongest will to live and who can fight as a team.
Excuse me?
Can't anymore, sir. It's too hot.
Do you think the Taliban cares in the middle of a gunfight if it's too hot? You dig deep, soldier. You push yourself. There are no quitters on my team. Now move!
You have to have a never quit attitude.
Scott wanted to put everybody on the same level so that we would grow to be a cohesive unit.
We deployed to Afghanistan in October of 2007. And then the 2nd of April in 2008, we were given the mission to go conduct a high-value target raid in Nuristan.
Our target is Haji Ghafoor, leader of the Hig Group. This is a tier level 0 target, gentlemen.
Tier level 0 is basically the same level as Osama bin Laden.
Intel suggests Ghafoor and his forces are encamped in a village hideout perched right on top of this mountain here in the Shok Valley, Nuristan province.
We wanted to repel in with helicopters and be able to take the high ground, land on the buildings.
But our infill ideas were rejected.
All special operations aviation helicopters are tied up, so you'll have to land at the bottom of the valley.
Our initial impressions were not good. It's a very defendable village. We don't want to fight up a hill, we want to fight down the hill.
I don't like it either, but that is the deal, gentlemen. Get some rest. Wheels up, 0500.
The name of the mission was Operation Commando Wrath. It was probably the most difficult night before an operation I've ever had. You've got to consider the fact that this was the Higg stronghold, this particular valley.
All right, I'm about ready. Are you? Yes, sir.
They knew every nook, cranny, cave, trail, every fighting position. It's virtually uncharted territory where they know every inch of it. I look through the helicopter and everybody's kind of quiet, and I can see that there's some kind of long looks.
How you doing, soldier?
Good, sir.
Good man.
Everybody's being quiet for a reason. They give me a 1-minute warning. Everybody's ready to run off the tailgate, and the crew chief looks at me and he says, you know, go. So I just jumped. I decided at that point it's time to start motivating people. So I start to pound my chest, you know, beat my fist off my chest. Kind of get some pump, so that way the minute they step off that helicopter, they're ready to do whatever we have to do to win.
All right, and the limit?
You're going away.
Okay, I got 2 in the LZ right now.
Pressure.
At that point, we were finally able to get an appreciation for what the imagery couldn't really show us. And that was how steep and jagged these mountains that we were about to climb were.
I can see the village. It's 600 or 700 feet above where we're at in the bottom of the riverbed. You very quickly realized that we were going to have a long day. We're very vulnerable at this point. We need to get up it fast, but there's no fast way to accomplish that task because it's so steep. I had the detachment sniper, Seth Howard, and I had the team medic, Ron Schur, with me. Then we had the command and control element with Staff Sergeant Dillon Behr.
It was extremely silent, which is very disconcerting when you know that there are hundreds of people just above you.
Normally there's still guys out farming, there's animals. We're hearing nothing.
You got approximately 30 to 40 gathering on rooftops.
Those are bad guys?
Yeah.
I actually start to see women and children leaving the village.
We've got movement. Stay frosty.
Heads on a swivel. We're gonna have a gunfight. I can see a deer down there.
Normally when we go out, we are the ones that are doing the hunting. We are the most prepared, we know where the bad guys are, and we're surprising them.
You start to know what it feels like to be the prey. You definitely had to sense that you were being watched. Everybody's sitting and waiting for you to fall into their trap.
And the guy right underneath your line of sight was waving something around. Both of those guys got something. That looks like a weapon. Trying to pass that information along because where all these guys are at, they're on high ground relative to the friendlies, so I don't know if they have a good line of sight on them.
You're just waiting for it to start.
I found myself on basically a ledge. There was really nowhere to hide.
I've got 4 bad guys with machine guns.
Staff Sergeant Morales, radio's down. He sees 4 bad guys moving.
The hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Light it up!
They answer back with just a tremendous amount of firepower.
The entire valley just erupted.
These guys are well disciplined. They had a plan. We've fallen right into the ambush. This was going to turn into the biggest firefight of my life.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Our target is Haji Ghafoor, leader of the hate group.
I got a bunch of dudes gathered on the roof of the house.
Take him out!
Even though the odds are stacked against us, we can't give up. You want to make them regret shooting at you.
Couldn't go forward or backward. There was nowhere to hide. I needed to move out from that position. I saw a belt tree, and I figured that was the best chance that I had.
The tone of the voice scared me.
We need a medic up here now!
I think that everybody on the team, when they heard that Dillon had been critically injured, they didn't think about, we need to evacuate a casualty. Everybody knew the urgency that we needed to save Dillon's life.
Okay, Ron, we need to get up there. We gotta get them down the mountain, okay?
I grabbed the team medic, Ron Sure, and I said, hey, we've got to get up there.
Seth, on my mark. No! Let's go!
Normally you would move from one piece of cover to the other. But there was so much gunfire that it almost felt like, let's just sprint all the way there. Because there is no safe place to be. I can remember grabbing dirt to try and climb up to the next level and like feeling bullets literally impacting between our hands. Sure and I just continue to climb, continue to climb, continue to climb. I'm just amazed that, you know, Sure and I, we didn't get shot. We get up to the ledge, there's bullet casings everywhere, there's pieces of kit, pools of blood. Dillon was white as a ghost at this point. I needed to come up with a plan fast, otherwise we were going to die on this mountain.
No!
I remember Scott directing where to move people to. Having him show up on the scene did give me some reassurance. He was very calm. And that sort of leadership brought everybody back into the reality.
Dillon! Dillon!
As soon as you looked at Dillon Behr, you knew that the clock was ticking.
Dillon!
And he looked up at me.
You're gonna be all right, man.
And I grabbed his hand and I was like, hey man, you're gonna be all right. We're getting you out of here as fast as we can.
I remember Ron, the medic, reassuring me that everything was going to be okay, that we were going to get out of there.
It's not a femoral artery injury, right?
Yet at the same time, he yells,
"We need to get this man out of here now!"
So he's telling me I'm okay, but I knew from the urgency that I wasn't really okay. He gave me a shot of morphine. It helped dull the pain a little bit, but it kind of made me cloudy. Your vision becomes a little bit blurred. The sounds that you hear become a little more muffled. Your sense of reality is shifted to something like a blurry video game. You do feel somewhat detached from yourself. I think that the morphine was enough to allow me to take in more than just my immediate pain, and I was able to sort of see the rest of the battlefield for the first time since I had been shot. I noticed that on a ridgeline across the valley, there were other buildings that had not been secured. They would have had a direct shot at myself and everybody else on the team.
Billy.
I did everything that I could to muster enough strength to relay that to the team.
They got us.
But I was struggling to get my words together.
White building. The ridge line. Copy.
At this point, we have to utilize, air support to win the battle.
Runner! Give me a 2,000 pounder on that ridge line, ASAP! Runner!
Reiner's job is combat controller.
Runner! Runner!
I look over, and he's not even facing the objective.
I need you to get on the radio calling the air support.
His job is to give coordinates for targets through a radio.
Runner!
You can tell he's in a little bit of shock. He was brand new out of school. This is his first real baptism by fire. So it's not surprising to have a guy that's got a little bit of combat shock. If you're in combat shock, you're not effective on the battlefield. And so you might as well be a casualty. I realized I needed to have a very calm conversation with him to get him to calm down. Kind of effectively bring him out of the battle for a minute. I actually reached over, put my arm around him, and just had a conversation like we were sitting at a bar.
You having a good day today?
He kind of looked at me like, what?
It's a nice view up here, isn't it? Yeah, kinda.
It kind of creates a little space where it's almost like the gunfire disappears for that small moment.
When we get out of here, we're gonna get a beer. I really need you to be a part of this right now. You're gonna get on the radio. You're gonna call in the air support. Can you do that for me? You see that white building over there?
Let's crush that one first. The next one after that, and then after, just don't ever stop until the whole village is a parking lot.
You do that for me.
Good man. Let's do this.
Hawk 51. This is Tango Foxtrot Bushmaster. Mission number 3336. Requesting priority 1.
Hawk 51, on station.
Target is one building, fortified house.
They were going to drop a 2,000-pound bomb. That's a very big bomb.
Location 42 Sierra. X-ray.
You're definitely well within the minimum safe distance, what we call danger close.
Friendlies are less than a click away.
We are assuming the risk of that bomb being dropped within the minimum safe distance. They could drop it right on top of our heads and kill us all.
Destroy target.
Copy that.
There was a tense moment of anticipation of, you know, am I going to get hit by shrapnel or debris? It's an unknown because there's no training for that.
10, 9.
There came a countdown over the radio.
8.
And the only thing that was shielding me was Ron, the medic.
Incoming! Everybody get down!
I have to run over to the wall and count in my head like 5, 4, 3, 2. You know, I don't think you have to go to church every Sunday to believe in God.
You got approximately 30 to 40 gathering on rooftop.
Hawk 51.
This is Tango Foxtrot Bushmaster. Destroy target.
The entire valley erupted with this huge roar.
Almost like it was kind of the worst thunder you'd ever heard.
Rocks started hitting the walls all around us. The smoke and the debris blocks out the sun.
That was close to you guys. And it's definitely danger close. Yes, I did so. I don't have a good feeling about that at all.
And then there was just silence.
Dillon, you okay?
A piece of rock fell and landed right on my stomach. That piece of rock actually perforated my intestines. What's next? This is a day from hell.
Once we dropped the bomb, we had about a 2-minute lull. Now I've kind of got a better understanding of the gunfight and the fact that we can't possibly scale the rest of this mountain and continue the assault. It was more important to save Dillon's life at all costs. Air support is what's going to determine whether or not we get off this mountain.
Hawk 51. This is Tango Foxtrot Bushmaster.
Reiner's working with the aircraft now. Obviously the combat shock is gone. I came up with a plan. Let's use these lulls to our advantage. We can hand casualties down, you know, one level, kind of leapfrog them until we can get them to safety.
Ron, you need to get these guys packaged and ready to move. We're waiting on you.
Yes, sir!
Then we're back in the gunfight again.
And then all of a sudden,
But to take a very quick instinctive shot. They've sent somebody down the mountain to try and probe us. They're checking our vulnerability. Typically, whenever you start to drop bombs, they start to flee. And, you know, they're still in the gunfight. They're not leaving. And so now I realize they're willing to fight to their death.
I felt like I was fading out. My thoughts started drifting to dying, God, and what it's like on the other side. All of the things that you never accomplished. I remember I was definitely thinking about my family. I said a prayer. I said, God, I know I'm not the best person in the world, but if there's any reason that I'm supposed to be alive, now would be a good time for that. I felt this, like, strange calm, and I remember thinking, okay, this is it. This is the moment that I die. And I just felt like a strange, like, peace. And then at that moment...
Dillon! Hey! Stay with me, man. You're not gonna die today, okay? Come on, Dillon.
I often think about that moment and try to be a better person than I was before that. And I try to live each day to the fullest. It's amazing how nearly dying will give you a different perspective on life. How precious life is, really, and how fragile it is.
Come on, you're gonna make it, buddy. We're gonna get you out of this. Okay, ready to move.
Okay, copy. Get Dillon ready. We go on my mark. Walding, we do covering fire. Let's move!
Essentially, Staff Sergeant Walding and I were using our bodies as cover. All of a sudden, I just see Walding jump.
John Walding was shot through the leg. I remember him screaming in excruciating pain.
Medic! Tourniquet!
First myself, now Luis, and now John Walding's also been hit. So of our 12-man team, 3 of us have already been taken out of the battle. The odds were not looking good.
That's when I really started to pick up my rate of fire. I was kind of the last wall of defense for our casualties. My plan was just to stand there and shoot until we could move. I essentially have a quarter of my force wounded. It's going to take the rest of my detachment to get these 3 off the mountain. If we take another wounded, you know, what are we going to do? I felt a round impact in my chest. At that point, I'm not sure I'm going to get off this mountain alive. It felt like being hit by a baseball bat. Very sharp and very painful. At a minimum, I had broken a rib. If not, the bullet had actually penetrated through my body armor. I did a blood check with my hand, put it in between my body armor and my chest. There was no blood on it. And then I kind of just took a breather for a minute and was like, you know, hey, you don't have time to enjoy a moment of, I feel lucky. You gotta get back out there and get the job done. and all of a sudden, I just feel this extreme pain in my left arm.
The bullet that hit Scott went straight through his arm and hit Ron in the head. Ron looked shell-shocked, and he started reaching for his helmet to take it off and check his head.
Run! No, run!
And all I could think about was that scene from Saving Private Ryan, when the guy on the beach takes off his helmet, and then another bullet rips through his head.
Run! Don't take it. Keep your helmet on.
I try to lift my arm to look at it, and it doesn't move. I just need to take a minute. I said a quick prayer. Get everybody off this mountain today. Before that, I'd never experienced any moment like that. You have a lot of emotions that quickly kind of take over. You know, am I going to die on this mountain? If we sustain more casualties, you know, at what point are we going to be ineffective to fight?
Gotta inject myself.
Walding wanted to inject himself with his auto-injector of morphine.
Each of these pens has a green side and a purple side. One is supposed to go into your leg and the other one is not.
Run! Witches! Purple!
Walding somehow had gotten it mixed up,
Ah! Son of a bitch!
and he injects his thumb full of morphine. And we all just die laughing. And he starts to laugh with us.
It almost seemed like the bad guys even stopped to like laugh along with us.
And that's a surprising thing. How something like that, a small piece of humor, kind of gets everybody to kind of get back on track. And now we're going to go back to work. After months of telling them to never quit, I have to tell myself, we need to get up. Let's survive, let's get off of this mountain. And that's when we start to turn the battle.
Ready? Ready. I'm engaging with 30 millimeter on the building.
Hog 51, this is Tango Foxtrot Bushmaster.
By that time, we had a lot of air support that had started to really pound the village.
Location, 42, Sierra, X-ray, Echo.
And so we had a lot of lulls. Because I was the only casualty that hadn't been shot in the leg, I was the only guy that could move by himself. And so I'm going to go down and establish the casualty collection point. We dropped another bomb, and it was a major lull. And I saw my opportunity to move. I was surprised that I didn't have any balance. I kind of just had to almost sit on my rear end and just scoot down the mountain. So I'm just dragging my arm through just dirt. I would actually tell myself, don't listen to the pain, just block it out. Hey, you can't quit, you gotta keep going. I got down to the tier where our sniper, Seth Howard, was actually at.
Sir.
What?
Seth actually was like,
No, stop.
No.
and I'm like, what?
I need to get to the
Negative, sir.
Here's one of the most junior guys on the team, and you know he's very assertively telling me, no, stop.
See that arm before you go anywhere.
For the first time in my life, I had to stop thinking that I could do it all myself.
Let me get you fixed up, sir.
And let him help me. For somebody like myself, that was one of the hardest lessons to learn.
The ones of us that were wounded critically, myself and John Walding and Luis Morales couldn't make it down the mountain the way that we had came. It would have exposed me and the guys to too much fire. The way that we were going to go down the mountain, there was no path. It was just dropping down cliffs, basically. So it was literally rock climbing. 20, 30-foot drops in some places. The morphine had more than worn off by this point. Being dropped at that
Log 51.
Scott and I didn't always see eye to eye, but that day I gained a large amount of respect for his leadership. That's a bond that can't really be broken by time.
We'll remain brothers forever. Hopefully we're 90 years old and, you know, we're grumpier old men just out there trying to hunt together and just enjoying the fact that we're alive and we survived that day.